Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for watching. And I hope everyone's doing okay during this coronavirus pandemic. And I think the best way that we can handle this situation, on YouTube at least, would be to be magically whisked away to the country of Brazil. And I'm going to be checking out Manaus, and it's a city that's quite literally in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. And there's over 2 million people that live there, and it looks like an awesome place to visit. So I decided to make that my second destination after yesterday's video that I created, which was in Seychelles, which is off of the African coast, off of the east coast of Africa. And I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So let's go ahead and, oh yeah, that's the wallpaper I chose, by the way. I guess I forgot to close all this out, but that's okay. All right, so this is Manaus in Brazil. And I'll go ahead and zoom out here. Let's see. Let me take it all the way out here, and just so we can have a good idea of where it's located on the earth. And it would be located right there. So wherever you are in the world, this is the place we're going to be visiting, right in the heart of the Amazon. So it's a gorgeous location. It's absolutely amazing. We're going to learn some fun facts and some information, maybe some history about it, and some travel tips, and how much it might cost to fly there, at least from my location, which is in Tampa Bay, in the United States, Florida. So all right, so with that being said, I'll go ahead and jump to the very first thing that I have loaded up here. I'll go ahead and close this out first. By the way, I'm actually uploading the Seychelles video as I'm speaking right now. It's got about an hour left, so hopefully it'll be done by the time I'm finished with this video. So let's see here. I'm going to go straight to the Wikipedia article to start this thing off. And it should start to, there it is, to highlight the information that I've already looked over. So Manaus is the capital and the largest city of the Brazilian state of Amazonas. It is the 7th largest city in Brazil, with an estimated 2019 population of 2,182,763 people. The city was founded in 1669 as the Fort of São José do Rio Negro. It was elevated to a town in 1832 with the name of Manaus, an altered spelling of the indigenous Manaus peoples, and legally transformed into a city on October 24th of 1848 with the name of Cidade de Barra do Rio Negro, Portuguese for the city of the margins of the Black River. On September 4th of 1856, it returned to its original name. Manaus is located in the center of the world's largest rainforest, and home to the National Institute of Amazonian Research, being the most popular center for scientific studies in the Amazon region and for international sustainability issues. The city has a free port and an international airport. It manufactures include electronics, chemical products, and soap. There are distilling and ship construction industries. Manaus also exports Brazil nuts, rubber, jute, and rosewood oil. It has a cathedral, opera house, zoological and botanical gardens, an eco park, and regional and native peoples museums. Let's see, the Solomos, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and Negro rivers meet just east of Manaus and join to form the Amazon River. Rubber made in the richest city in South America during the late 1800s. It also helped Manaus earn its nickname, the Paris of the Tropics. Many wealthy European families settled in Manaus and brought their love for sophisticated European art, architecture, and culture with them. I'll go ahead and scroll down, and I will take a look at some of these photos after I finish the reading portion of this Wikipedia article. The name Manaus comes from the native people called Manaus. Again, could be pronouncing that wrong. I probably am, so my sincere apologies, which means Mother of the Gods. The history of the European colonization of Manaus began in 1499 with the Spanish discovery of the mouth of the Amazon River. Now coming down here to the rubber boom. When the seeds of the rubber tree were smuggled out of the Amazon region to be cultivated on plantations in Southeast Asia, Brazil and Peru lost their monopoly on the product. The rubber boom ended abruptly. Many people left its major cities, and Manaus fell into poverty, unfortunately. The rubber boom had made possible electrification of the city before it was installed on many European cities. But the end of the rubber boom made the generators too expensive to run, and the city was not able to generate electricity again for years. And with recent events, Manaus was one of the host cities of the 2014 FIFA World Cup and one of the seats of some Olympic football games. Okay, moving on to the geography portion with vegetation. The Amazon represents over half of the planet's remaining rainforest and comprises the largest and most species-rich tract of tropical rainforest in the world. Wet tropical forests are the most species-rich biome, and tropical forests in the Americas, are consistently more species-rich than the wet forests in Africa and Asia. As the largest tract of tropical rainforest in the Americas, the Amazonian rainforests have unparalleled biodiversity. More than 1/3 of all species in the world live in the Amazon rainforest. Now going down here to the climate section here, Manaus has a humid tropical climate, rainforest climate, according to the Köppen climate classification system, with average annual compensated temperature of 27.6 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and relatively high air humidity with a rainfall index around 2,300 millimeters or 90.6 inches annually. The seasons are relatively well defined with respect to rain. The winter is relatively dry from July to September, and the summer is very rainy. Thunderstorms are frequent every day in the summer, but they can occur at any time of the year. There have been occasional occurrences of hail in the city. Interesting. On November 26th of 2009, a case of acid rain was recorded in Manaus, and that's because air pollution, caused in large part by the accumulation of smoke from burning associated with the carbon dioxide emitted from cars, was the cause of this phenomenon. Although the incidence of acid rain is common in some Brazilian capitals where there is a great concentration of cars, in Manaus and other cities of Amazonas, the situation is aggravated by the prolonged period of drought with the smoke from forest fires. And here's a chart of the climate data for Manaus. So you can see the record highs here. If you're American like me and we're stuck with this system that only the United States uses, that would be in parentheses here. And then the same goes with the average high that you can look at, and the daily mean, which is the daily mean of Celsius and Fahrenheit could be located here, as well as the average low and the record low. And the precipitation, it goes virtually off the charts. I can't believe how much rain they get during the early months of the year. 12.56 inches of rain for the month of April. So literally right now, because it is April, currently it's April the 5th, they are getting quite their fair share of rain. So, and the average precipitation in days, so that's how many days on average in the month that they would receive. So that would be stretched across the year here. Average relative humidity, the percentage of humidity, which it's always pretty high. I mean, they're in the middle of the Amazon, so that's to be expected. And the mean monthly sunshine hours, which of course it's going to be less frequent during the time where they're getting the most rain. So, all right, so I'll go ahead and move down here, down to the economy section here. So Manaus is the 6th largest economy in Brazil, according to IBGE. In 2014, its GDP was 67.5 billion. And the R, I apologize, I actually didn't, let me see if I can find this. The Brazilian real is the official currency of Brazil. It is subdivided into 100 centavos. The Central Bank of Brazil is the central bank and the issuing authority. The real replaced the Brazilian cruzeiro. So it would be the Brazilian real. So 67.5 billion Brazilian reals. And the per capita income for the city was 33,446 reals. Okay, so let's move on down here to transportation. So this is pertaining to their airport. So if you're going to visit Manaus, this is probably where you're going to be flying into. The Eduardo Gomes International Airport is the airport serving Manaus. The airport has 2 passenger terminals, one for scheduled flights and the other for regional aviation. It also has 3 cargo terminals. And as far as highways go, Manaus is connected by road to the rest of Brazil, as it is possible to drive continuously from Manaus into Venezuela and then re-enter Brazil in the state of Acre by passing through the countries of Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. So it is connected to a large part of South America. My apologies, I have to wet my whistle. Okay, so for taxis, regular Manaus taxis are white and can be stopped at anywhere. They're organized into separate cooperatives, each with their own contact phone numbers. All taxis are metered, which doesn't necessarily mean the meter will be used. The bus system in Manaus is quite extensive, and there are buses and vans that go to most destinations, including the popular tourist destinations. There is a very simple bus website that permits the planning of routes, which would link to this. So if I open this, this is the very simple bus website that they're pertaining to that you can visit. It's not in English, so I don't know if there might be like an English button somewhere. I mean, yeah, you can translate it if you're using Chrome. Yeah, it does. Okay, yeah, this one didn't translate, but from neighborhood, the places, lines. So, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so very simple. Okay, yeah. So I guess it is pretty simple. So if you just go down and you just try to find the area that you're at, and it'll, I don't know, this whole line. Clearly, there's a lot of bus lines, like way more than I think we have in Tampa Bay. I mean, that's a ton. So then they have it by neighborhood. So I'm sure it's convenient enough if you have to use it. I mean, I'm sure it probably won't take long to get used to. So there's that gorgeous picture. Look at that. Very panoramic. It's very cool. Okay, so this is going to get into the events and holidays. So this might be something you'd be interested in if you're not sure what time of year you would like to visit Manaus, and if you'd like to schedule your vacation around what might be going on in the city at any particular time. So the annual calendar of festivals in Manaus starts in late February to early March. The Manaus Carnival, which is Carnaval, celebrations are a good start to upcoming events and include traditional processions and samba dancing at the Sambodromo in the Centro de Convenciones Convention Center. May is a popular time to pay a visit to Manaus, since the city hosts both the Ponta Negra Music and the Amazonas de Opera festivals during this month. Staged at the Teatro Amazonas, the opera festival lasts around 3 weeks and usually runs into early June. Let's see, the Folclorogio, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this very well. I do apologize. The Amazonas Folklore Festival is in June, and this has grown to become a major event involving a huge array of folk dancing and music, culminating in the St. Peter River procession, when hundreds of riverboats sail along the Rio Negro, honoring the patron saint of fishermen. October 24th was the day in 1848 that Manaus legally became a city. This anniversary is always cause for a party, culminating in fireworks at the end of the day. In November is the week-long Amazonas Film Festival with films and documentaries often emphasizing ecology, ethnology, and human relationships. And so they have it listed here by month, and then it has the corresponding festivals that occur inside that month. And again, this is on Wikipedia. You just go to wikipedia.org and then just type in Manaus, and it'll take you right here to this exact article. Okay, so let's see, the sights and attractions. Because of Manaus's location next to the Amazon rainforest, it attracts a substantial number of Brazilian and foreign tourists who come to see wildlife on land and in the rivers. It is also home to one of the most endangered primates in Brazil, the pied tamarin. Or the pied. Okay, yeah, not sure, but actually, here you go. There's a picture of it. The pied tamarin is a critically endangered primate species found in restricted area in the Brazilian Amazon rainforest. So, tour boats leave Manaus to see the meeting of the waters, where the black waters of the Negro River meet the brown waters of the Solimões River, following side by side without mixing for about 9 kilometers or 6 miles. And I will show that later on in the video. It looks really cool. Visitors can also explore riverbanks and igarapas. They can swim and canoe in placid lakes, simply walk in the lush forest, or stay at hotels in the jungle. Very cool. About 18 kilometers or 11 miles from downtown is Ponta Negra Beach, a neighborhood that has a beachfront and popular nightlife area. A luxurious hotel is located at the west end of Ponta Negra. Its zoo and orchid greenhouse, as well as preserved woods and beach, are open for public visits. Manaus also has several malls, such as Minara Shopping, Amazonas Shopping Center, Millennium Shopping. So I'll just let you finish off that. I mean, they're just listing all the different shopping malls in the city. And most of these malls include large food courts and movie theaters. And here's a section here for the parks. So there's 3 major parks that they're referring to that you can go visit, and there's some information about that, as well as public swimming areas that you would be able to have access to. There's a sneak peek of the river they were referring to. Once those 2 rivers join together, it creates the Amazon. The meeting of the waters, which is pertaining to that photo, you can go and visit that, as well as the CIGS Zoo, or SIG Zoo. I assume it's an acronym, CIGS Zoo. It's open to the public. It's managed by the Brazilian Army and has approximately 300 species of animals from the Amazon fauna. That's really cool. Beaches and waterfalls. So waterfalls, beaches, very cool. Everybody loves those. And they give you some information as to what you can look for in Manaus pertaining to the beaches and the waterfalls. But getting into sports, so they have football. Here's some football information. Soccer, if you're American, it's soccer, but in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Manaus is the origin of several world champion Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belts, mixed martial artists, and submission grapplers. And I think I'm at the point, yeah. So if you look at the list of notable people, a lot of them practice jiu-jitsu, and they are in UFC, the WEC, MMA, to be more general. But yeah, there's a lot of fighters here, like UFC competitor. I think the only person on this list that I think that I might know, because it looked familiar, is Jose Aldo, UFC featherweight champion. I think I've seen him fight at some point. Yeah, I mean, he looks familiar. I think I've seen him fight before. Because I don't watch all of the pay-per-view UFCs. I mean, I actually don't have like a fancy cable package or anything like that where I can do that. But I have seen quite a few of them. So, and that's it. That's it for the Wikipedia article. I will go ahead and I'll click through the pictures and see what we skim past here. I'll just start with this one, which looks like a collage of images, and I'm sure those are different sites of the city. That's probably the downtown area. That's obviously where the Amazon River begins, and that could be the Opera House maybe that they were referring to. It could also be that theater that they mentioned. Not totally for sure, but we'll probably end up finding out here. Oh yeah, well, here we go. Check this out. Top left, clockwise, Manaus Aranduba Bridge. Obviously it's a bridge. Teatro Amazonas. Not really sure. It didn't tell me exactly whether if it was the Opera House, the theater, whatever. But if you know, then that's what it is. Meeting of the waters in the Arena de Amazonia, right down here. Opening up the port's monument right here, and then the view of the city, probably the downtown area. And I bet you that's a cumulonimbus cloud back there, right here. I would almost bet anything that if that's a cumulonimbus cloud, you would see flashes of lightning coming out of that as it grew. I'm very familiar with that cloud structure living in Tampa Bay, because we have crazy lightning storms almost on a daily basis during the summer. So I'm pretty used to seeing that cloud formation during sunset. And I'm not seeing. See, this happened to me with the last video that I did. I apologize. Oh, okay, here we go. I just clicked the back button. See, I didn't know that in the last video. I actually clicked out of the tab and brought it back open again, because when I zoomed in, I couldn't figure out what to do. That's what, the flag of Manaus? I was about to say coat of arms, but that's the flag of Manaus. Very cool. Even has the beach there. Very neat. Let's see here. Location in the state of Amazonas. Okay, just a couple more maps here. The flag of Amazonas, the state of Brazil. Bust of Francisco de Orellana, the Spaniard who sailed the Amazon River in 1542. Looks like a pirate. Not so much with the helmet, but clearly with the eye patch. Okay, perspective of the Rio Negro Fortress, founded in 1669, so that's what the original fortress looked like. Pretty cool. Metropolitan Cathedral, 1890. Very, very cool. Very cool. I love seeing 1800s pictures from exotic areas. That's pretty awesome. Very cool. Again, 1901. Look at that. Very cool. I mean, to imagine that's in the middle of the Amazon and that's a photograph. That's just crazy. You don't see any trees other than what's here in the foreground. It's amazing. You think they'd be surrounded by, well, they are surrounded by jungle. It's just interesting how it didn't show up in the picture. The Amazon Theater. Okay, so it was the Amazon Theater, that pink building that I was grappling with in that collage picture. It is the Amazon Theater. And that's a picture taken in 1906, so that thing's been there for a very long time. I mean, look at that statue. That thing looks so detailed and ornate. Very cool. The public market in 1906. Very neat. I mean, it's the architecture is really cool. It's really nice. Western, clearly. They even have trolleys. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Back in 1906. So it's definitely a modern city early on in the industrial era. Very cool. Aerial view of the Amazon rainforest near Manaus. So it's like nothing but, you know, all the way down to the horizon. Just nothing but jungle. Very cool. It's really, really cool. Another great picture. Amazing. Anavilhanas National Park. I'm probably not saying that right, but hopefully I'm close. It's very neat. Okay. Again, the theater and the statue. That's what it looks like today, which is pretty close to the same as it did. Probably didn't have this strange design on the bottom, or on the tiles on the walkway, but courtyard, or whatever you want to call it. And the panorama of the buildings in the port region back in 2011. That's a pretty well developed city. St. Sebastian Church, pretty cool. Panorama of the center south region in 2014. Let's see, Sabaranam building. Not sure. Okay. Oh, apologies. Mario Yaparanga Avenue, financial center of Manaus. Cool beans. Looks very busy. National Institute of Amazonian Research. You know, I know there's going to be a lot of pictures, so I might start to skip them a little quicker. The airport, that's cool. That's kind of neat looking. Check that out. That's cool. Road complex. Just some traffic. Another view of the city. The port. Very nice. The bridge, the Rio Negro Bridge. Very cool. Festivals. Yep. Manaus Carnival. Amazon Theater. And Amazonas Philharmonic. Very cool. Very interesting. Another view of the city. I will get to that. That's the two rivers joining together. It's very cool when you see it from Google Earth. Just take my word for it. It's very cool. The beach. Let's see. The arena. Inside view. Very cool. The flag of Brazil. Flag of the United States. I don't know why that's there. Like 5 times. Like, wait a minute. What's going on here? I think I know what's going on here. I think we're down here in the, down in this area, because these are technically images. So yeah, so that's it for this article. Very cool. Very, very interesting. You always got to get the facts first before you visit the area, in my opinion. I think that anybody should do that. So this one, yes, it looks like a kid's website because it is a kid's site. So I figured I would just scroll down and just see if there's some fun facts. That's what I Googled. I Googled fun facts Manaus, and I figured it might bring up something. And this was the best result that I could find. So it was mostly the photographs. Now I remember this site. It was mostly the photographs that I was interested in looking at. So basically what I covered in Wikipedia, we probably already got all the information that they're going to be describing in here, just in a different different wording of what we've already learned on Wikipedia. But let me see if I can. Okay, so I can't. But okay, so let's see. Manaus, Amazonas in 1865. That was in 1865. That's crazy. I mean, what was it like roughly maybe 20 years after they invented still photography? So like this was forever ago. I mean, like imagine, like that was when the American Civil War was coming to an end. Crazy. Not crazy, but just fascinating to me. I think it's phenomenal that they were able to preserve a photo from Manaus in 1865. It's fascinating. It's amazing. The Public Library of the Amazon. Very neat. When was this taken? Oh, no, they didn't say it. Dang it. Clearly it's a very old picture because there's horse carts there, or buggies, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm sure that was like in the teens, maybe the 20s. So pretty cool. They've had a library there for over 100 years for sure. The bridge Benjamin Constant built between 1892 and 1895 with parts imported from England. Very cool. Aerial view of the Amazon. Manaus at night. The corporate trade area, probably the financial district. Educational Institute of the Amazon. Very, very cool. There's the airport. Once again, it has 2 main terminals. And this must be like a landmark because we saw this on Wikipedia. This, strangely, it's a hotel, but it kind of looks like that GM building in Detroit. And I mean, not exactly, but it kind of looks like it to me. Port of Manaus, that's there too. And the Amazonas Opera House, absolutely gorgeous. I got to click on this. This thing looks spectacular. Is it? Oh yeah, here we go. Oh man, this image must be massive if it's taking this long. Oh, come on, load faster. I don't want it to take this long. I guess we can start by looking up here at the top. The ceiling is painted. Very cool. I mean, how many floors are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 3 balconies above this main balcony. And there really can't seat all that many people here. I mean, if you just look at the seating arrangement here, I mean, like, what is that? Just a couple hundred seats on the ground. So it's got to be a very exclusive, expensive place to go. I mean, it really doesn't look that big, does it? I don't think it looks that big. And then they have all these doors that open up. It's very neat. Very opera-like. So, very cool. Very elegant. Gorgeous. So, always something very neat to see. Taken in 2014. Yeah, it's all in Portuguese, but that's okay. I kind of get the gist of it. All right, so that's pretty much it. There's the arena, the inside view, which we saw on Wikipedia, as well as the outside view. But there were a couple of extra pictures that I saw that I didn't catch on Wikipedia. All right, so I'll go ahead and close out of that, and we're finished with Wikipedia as well. So let me go ahead and move on to the next article here, which is the official website for Manaus, and it's on visitbrazil.com. Just remember it's spelled with an S, not a Z, because that's the proper pronunciation. If you're an American, we spell it with a Z because, you know, we always want to complicate everything. But yeah, visitbrazil.com/destination/Manaus.html. Or if you just type in Manaus official site, I think even if you just typed in Manaus official, that would just bring it right up. So it tells you the current temperature, 35 degrees Celsius. That is quite warm. 95 degrees. That is hot. That's really hot. So, and it's supposed to get down to 71, which is extremely comfortable. Perfect. Okay, so they give you just some general information about Manaus, and also a little bit more like how to get there and getting around. Let's see here. So when you click on these up here, it's not strictly Manaus. It's Brazil in general. So these aren't going to help you when if it pertains to Manaus specifically. So really, all you're going to be able to get is just a little bit of info right here, as well as maybe, I mean, you might get some information here at Boa Vista, as well as down here on how to get there. So they talk about the airport, the telephone number if you have to contact the airport, the address if you need it. I'm sure if you just tell somebody take me to the airport, I'm sure it's pretty straightforward. Getting around, so they have a bus service which says that Manaus is well served. The bus lines, check the lines of the city. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to the bus lines, which we kind of already covered that, didn't we? Yeah, see, it's the same website. So we already went down that road. And then the taxi service. Getting around to the main attractions of Manaus is always easier by taxi. Check some of the companies of the city. So when you click on that, it takes you to the different taxi services. So obviously you're going to need some sort of translating capability. I'm using Chrome, so that helps. And you can call this variety of taxi services. Hopefully you have some way of communicating with them if you have to reach out to them by phone. I don't know if they have Uber or the like, just, you know, whatever ride sharing service that we use online these days. But if they don't, they do have telephone numbers here that you can use. It's not bringing it up, but that's okay. But you get the gist of it. So anyway, let's see. So yeah, that's their official website. There's not a lot of information on there. I mean, if you watched my last video of the Seychelles, they had a lot of information to look through compared to what I've noticed. I've already jumped ahead and I've done some research on the next location I'm going to be doing for this video series. And that website didn't have a whole lot of information either, the official website, which, if you want like a spoiler, not a spoiler alert, but like a sneak preview, it's going to be in the next video that I'm going to be traveling to is in Mumbai, India. And I am really excited about that because I've always been fascinated, not just Mumbai, the city specifically, but the entire country of India. I've never been there. I've always wanted to go. I think probably the first 10 videos I do are probably like my most sought out places that I've always wanted to visit. I know it's kind of selfish, but you know, so be it. I like to travel anywhere. I love traveling. So anyway, so let's see. That's back in the previous video, the Seychelles. That's getting there. 21 minutes left. That's not too bad. Okay, so I'm just going to jump to the next one here, which is the images section. And in this part of the video, I kind of just scroll down, and if something looks interesting, I'll click on it. I probably won't be clicking on that one because that's kind of depressing. So, but as far as anything else, I mean, that's the theater that we looked at earlier. Probably the statue is up there in the front on the other side, or maybe it's down over. No, it's not down here, but you know what I mean. I really wish Google didn't do this. I mean, they split it, so there's like more thumbnails than you can see the large picture. I'm probably just dumb and I don't know. I don't realize that I can actually adjust this somehow, but it'd just be nice to have fewer thumbnails over here and be able to see more of the actual image I clicked on. But there's some houses. That's pretty cool looking. Up on stilts down here on the bottom. I mean, these are probably up on stilts too to some extent. There's some more houses and some more homes built up on a hill. Oh, it's still loading. It takes some time, so I'm just going to skip past that one. And, you know, I just go down the list for a few minutes as I'm talking and just commentating on what's here to see. I mean, clearly a big city. Isn't that cool? And that's not an ocean. That's not a massive, I mean, it is a massive body of water, but it's a river. That's just a river. It looks like a giant lake, or it looks like it could even extend out to be an ocean, but it's really not. It's just a body of water. There's another view of it, or a river. Just fascinating. It's very cool, very interesting stuff. Clearly, very neat. Look at that. They got a giant barge that's going down there. I mean, just to zigzag your way around the river like that, God, that would take forever. I mean, it'd just be nice just to go, but obviously it's not so easy. I mean, nature doesn't make things easy for us sometimes. That's just a map view. Oh, this is really cool. This would be a good, like, look at that. Like that's the well, this is the Negra River, right? Like the black or the dark water, and then the other one, I honestly couldn't pronounce it, but at the point where they meet right here, like right here at this point, this little point right here, that is where the Amazon River officially begins. And these two rivers mix together, but they stay split like that for up to 6 miles. And I've heard of this river before. I didn't know it was so close to the city. I didn't know that's where this happened. But from what I understand, it has to do with like not the salinity of one water over another, but it has to do with like its alkali, like one is more acidic and the other one's like more basic than the other, you know, like acids and bases or whatever, like the pH scale, like one has a low pH, one has a higher pH, so it takes it a long time to mix. I don't know, I'm probably full of it, but I think that's what I heard, that the reason why it doesn't mix immediately like that is because just the composition of what is in that water is very different from the other one, even though it is water, but there's different elements in each one of those rivers, and you can obviously observe that through the color. So, but nevertheless, it's amazing. It's really cool. I mean, check that out. It's so awesome. That's one river, and it's like half and half. That's so cool. Clearly, I think this one looks cleaner. This one definitely just looks dirty, muddy. Probably just a product of erosion. I mean, that's probably what it is. It's probably just carrying soil downstream, but. That is definitely a feature I think that any tourist would have to go check out. I mean, that would be like on the top of my list as far as things to see in the city of Manaus, but there's plenty of other places to go. That opera house would be amazing to go see. The theater would be amazing to see. I think they're two separate buildings. Could be wrong, but I think they're separate. Okay, so let's see. I'll just do a couple more here. Basically, I just went to google.com. I clicked on the images button and I just typed in Manaus, and this is the exact list that you'll see, unless you're watching this video, you know, a year from now or 5 years from now or whatever. You might get a different list of images because obviously, you know, images change over time. Yeah, aerial photo. Pretty much seeing that's where the rivers join. So that's the Negra River, and then that's the one I can't pronounce. I wish I could, but yeah, they join up right here. And so now this is officially the Amazon. Pretty cool. That was in 2010. Yeah, and then, you know, a lot of the pictures we saw already on Wikipedia. So just some different angles, different views of the city. That's a crazy looking church. Look at that. Cathedral, church, what have you. It's a very large image. Oh, here it goes. Very cool looking. I assume it's a church, right? I mean, there's no parking around it. I mean, it could be maybe some really... Oh, yeah, it is. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Oh, so the Mormons are down there. All right, so that's a Mormon church. So I guess if you're a Mormon, there's a place for you to go for your house of worship. That's just in the Amazon, I'm sure. I'm sure it's close to Manaus, but that's like out into the jungle. Let's see, the shipping district, or the port, and just some other here and there type things. That's cool. A lot of boats. I'm sure they're locals, like local boats and whatnot. Probably ferries, and not just ferries, but probably sightseeing and things like that. Actually, as a matter of fact, those look like houses. And I've seen that. I've seen that in, what's it called? Caracas, in Venezuela. There's a lot of those like floating homes that they have that they like build on what is that, Lake Catatumbo. There's a bunch of these houses they have that are I think they're actually mainly on stilts, really, to be honest, but there's some that are actually floating, which these clearly look like they're floating homes. But yeah, that's probably something that's fairly popular in South America as a whole. But yeah, I always thought that was fascinating. There's a couple of videos on YouTube because Catatumbo, Lake Catatumbo, I know I'm going off topic, but it's in Venezuela, and it receives the most amount of lightning of anywhere else on Earth. And I watched a couple of lightning videos on YouTube, and one of them, they were in a place just like that. It looked just like that. It was like it was like a houseboat essentially, but it didn't really look like it operated as a boat. It was just like a house, but it was on the water, like it was literally in the water. So anyway, let's see here. Teatro Amazonas, the Unlikely Opera House. There you go. There's the Opera House. Well, different view, I suppose. I mean, yeah, see. So yeah, I think it is. I think the Opera House and the theater is probably the same building. So I think I just answered my own question there. Oh man, that looks devastating. Devastating fire impacts thousands in Manaus, Brazil. Ooh, man, that's bad. That's not good. I don't like to see the bad news. Man, that's horrible. Must have been a crazy fire that broke out. Maybe, I hope it's not from deforestation. I mean, it could be, but I don't know, man. That's a cool picture. I like that. Another cool picture, hammocks. Girls in hammocks. Another river view. I don't know what that is. What the heck is that thing? Pyramid? Amazon Towers. Oh, that's a hotel in Manaus. Adventure Eco Lodge. Ooh, that'd be interesting to go check that out. Maybe you can stay in there. It's like a glass pyramid. Very cool. So anyway, I'm pretty much done with this section of the video. I don't usually plan on spending more than just a few minutes, just kind of browsing a few photos and just showing you like what you have to check out. If you want to check out Google Images, this is what we got here. So people hiking on the river's edge. That's pretty cool. Again, just another place to visit. Here you go. Here's looks like a marketplace, or no, those are boats. Looks like, yeah. So I don't know what district that might be or exactly what's going on there, but it's crowded. So it's probably a place to check out if you decide to visit this place. All right. So anyway, I am done with the photo section of that. If you wish that I had done anything different, just leave it in the comments. Especially like even if it pertains to anything throughout this video. To me, this is a learning process as well. This is only the second video that I've made for the series. So if you prefer me to do something different, like if I'm scrolling down through Google Images, for example, and if there's something that would have been better, let me know. I mean, I'm always open to criticism for sure. Every time I put up a video, I allow all comments. I mean, I don't care what they say. I mean, YouTube's got these weird strict policies and stuff where like the person posting the video, they'll give you the option to withhold inappropriate comments until you approve it. I don't go with all that garbage. I mean, I'm a very big time First Amendment kind of person. You can say whatever you want on my YouTube videos as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, let's go ahead and see how much it's going to cost to fly to Manaus, at least from Tampa Bay. So if you're from the United States, it'll probably cost roughly the same, probably anywhere you live, compared to where I'm at. So it's going to cost $624. That's the cheapest they have here. And this is through Expedia. I'm not endorsing them. They're not paying me for this. I mean, it's just a site that I've used for most of my adult life. I don't know. It's just... They hooked me in, I guess. I guess I watched the right commercial or something. I'm like, yeah, I'll use Wikipedia or Expedia. So I've been with them ever since. I rarely go anywhere, to be honest with you. I think the last time I left Florida was in 2013, and right now it's 2020. So needless to say, I don't travel very much. Not nearly as much as I would love to, but you know, the reality of my situation is that I just can't travel. So instead, I get to use this glorious internet to see other places around the world that I may not be blessed enough to visit. So anyway, we've got, so it takes 22 hours, 55 minutes, 2 stops, if I were to select that. This one looks direct, right? 8 hours and 23 minutes? No, there's still a stop. How in the world are you going to get from Tampa to Brazil in 8 hours? Unless there's a time zone change, which I don't think there would be. I don't know. I mean, that to me, that sounds like crazy fast. Okay, so so if you watched the last video, I did the same thing. I just randomly plugged in July 10th, and then I did it till the 17th, like assuming it's a week-long trip. And I just left it the same for this video because if you plug in something on Expedia, or I'm sure on any other travel website for dates and places, when you revisit it the next time, probably with cookies or whatever, just those little tidbits that they keep in your internet browser. So when you revisit it, it's going to save your information. So I just left the dates the same just for simplicity reasons. There's really no reason why I selected that. It's just what I picked for the last video. So yeah, $624 round trip. Now with the COVID-19 going around right now, coronavirus, and because the airlines are taking a massive, nasty hit right now, I would not expect in a normal scenario to be paying anywhere near $624. I wish that we weren't dealing with this because I really want this to be a part of my video series to reflect what you know the reality of visiting Manaus would really look like, including purchasing your flight, purchasing a hotel room, things like that. But unfortunately, right now in this situation that we're in, unless you're seriously about to go to Manaus and you're just going to roll the dice and take the flight, I mean, if you do that, that's what you're looking at. But I think in a normal situation, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was double that. I don't know, to be honest, because I've never flown that far. So, but that's what we're looking at right now. So if you wanted to fly down to Manaus, Brazil, and you wanted to leave on the 10th of July, right now it is the 5th of April, that's what you're looking at right now. I mean, to me, that seems really cheap. I mean, like, I'm not far away from being able to take that. Like, I probably have enough saved up to be able to do that, plus the hotel and food and whatnot. Like I could actually make that happen if I really wanted to. But, but the reality of the situation is that we're not supposed to leave the country. You know, everybody's supposed to be going home. So I don't think that's in anybody's immediate future, is just casually traveling right now. I mean, the whole world is shut down, unfortunately. So I'm doing the next best thing. I'm traveling online. All right, so let me go to the next one here. The next one is going to be hotels. Let's see how much the hotels are in Manaus, and let's see how interesting that they actually are too. Because I noticed one hotel, quote unquote, that was very interesting. And I know it's like the 5th or 6th one down. It turns out to be the 4th one down. Check that out. The Iberostar Heritage Grand Amazon, all inclusive and free cancellation. So if you can't make it, but it is a floating hotel on the river. So it takes, I would assume that it goes upstream, downstream. You might have, if you plan on doing this, they might require you to have like a minimum of 2 days, maybe 3 days. I don't know. They might dock every day back in Manaus, but it could be one of those situations where like they leave Manaus and they go down the river for a couple of days and then they turn around and come back. So I would just check the details, but that fascinated me. That'd be amazing just to stay the night on a boat. That'd be so cool. Or a ship, boat, whatever. Especially on the Amazon, that would be so cool. Just traveling on the Amazon and staying in a hotel room with your own little balcony. I mean, come on, how cool would that be? It'd be amazing. Not sure how quick these would pop up. So yeah, look at that, man. They got a hot tub, jacuzzi, pool, places to sunbathe out there on the open water. You get drinks. It's all inclusive, by the way. Only $227 a night. So all inclusive, man. So like your dinner is covered, everything's covered. Amazing. I would love that. But you know, aside from that, you get a bunch of other places. The Blue Tree Premium Manaus, $46 a night, 4.0 out of 5. That's not bad. 4.2 for this one. And you know, I'll scroll down and just give you an idea. I mean, absolutely reasonable. $9. I don't know if that's true. It got a 4.3 out of 5. I mean, really, like, is it really that cheap? This one's $16. I mean, wow. So it looks like if you can afford the trip to get to Manaus by flight, you can really be staying there for a really cheap price in hotels. If you, I mean, like the Go Inn, I mean, it looks like a legit hotel, like for real. $25 a night. Now, July, I mean, I could check, I could go back to Wikipedia. I don't think that's the wettest time of the year. So, I mean, maybe for other reasons, it's just not a good time of year to go. And maybe that's why it's so cheap. But look, man, they have, I'm sure that's included, breakfast included. So there you go. $32 a night, $19 a night, $46. I mean, dirt cheap, so cheap. And they're all good ratings. So yeah. Some very nice places. And then you can go to somewhere like this that's $154, which is probably spectacular. 4.8 out of 5 stars. And then you get this place, $8 a night. I mean, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm like, is that $8 American dollars a night? Is that really true? Like, could I really stay there for a week and only pay $50? I mean, man, I mean, I don't make very much money at all. If you've looked at my other video series that I'm doing right now, it's pandemic isolation. That's my video series I'm doing right now. Aside from this, it's just like current events and news and stuff like that. And I keep talking about how little amount of money that I actually make in real life. I mean, hell, and they moved us off. They moved us to work from home. So theoretically, I could probably just move here and stay there for $8 a night. That's pretty amazing. Very incredible. But yeah, very nice places, very reasonably priced. I mean, very reasonably priced. So yeah, so that's what we're looking at here. And I hear something beeping. I think it's the neighbor. Hang on just a moment. Okay, I'm back. My apologies. Dinner's being made and the smoke alarm went off. But nothing's burning. It's just the flavor, I think. It just set it off. But no problem. Everything's fine. I mean, if you looked at the clock, I don't even think it even moved 1 minute. All's good here. So, all right. So let me go past the hotels now. I mean, that blows me away how cheap that is. I mean, again, it might be the off season. Maybe that's why it's so crazy cheap. But I think the last thing that I'm going to cover here would be, yeah, Google Earth. We're going to jump right into Google Earth here. So this is really cool because, you know, I can get all the way down to the street level virtually and just have a good exploration of what the city looks like. And that's usually how I wrap up these videos, or I plan on doing at least. I don't know, maybe I thought about maybe also pulling up Google Maps so I can do kind of a street view kind of thing as well. I know you can on Google Earth, but yeah, let me just see what we're going to be looking at here. This should be pretty interesting. Let me just X out of this. That way it'll get rid of the red line. So here's the city. So let me just start here on the river. This is exactly where I wanted to start with. Let me just see here. How did I do this last time? No. My apologies. I'm really rusty at this. Like they've made Google Earth very different than it used to be. All right, so I'm at 3D, and I want to be able to All right, hang on. No, I don't want to center it. All right, hold on. There's a way to, here, hang on. Okay, there we go. Double click. Okay. Oh, there we go. See, I was having problems with that in the last video. Check this out, man. This is awesome. So here's the Rio Negro. That's the river that the city is positioned up against. And let me try to, no, hold on. I want to make, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Perfect. So I'm going to spin this around a little bit and try to follow the river. Just try to get a glimpse of the horizon here. And this is where I kind of struggle with it. Like, not moving it, but trying to, like, make it go. No. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to, yeah, there we go. Like, no. A little the other way, a little the other way. I'm getting there. Just a little, yeah, that's perfect. Right there. Just right. So check this out. This is really cool. So moving along the river here, and there's the city, obviously. So we've got a pretty high bird's eye view here. Unfortunately, the Amazon is, I mean, at least for the sake of this video, it's pretty flat. So if you look at my video with the Seychelles with the island chain there, you could see these big mountain formations just towering up. It was really neat to see that. But since the Amazon is so flat, you don't really have that 3D effect like you did, or like I did with Seychelles. So here's now Google, they're saying that it's the Amazon River, but according to Wikipedia, that's not the Amazon River. Apparently it's the one that's probably what it is, the Carrio de Varzea. Maybe that might be the name of what the river was, or maybe that's just a location. That's probably just a location because it's a button to click on. So, but anyway, yeah, check this out. So like when you move up here, that's where the two rivers join together, and they are like really, really, like, look at that. That is so cool. How the two bodies of water are just not mixing together, and they're just separated. Like very separated. That's very, very, very cool. All right, let me just see if I can, I don't know, I don't want to screw this up too much. Let me just see if I can lift this up. No, well, yeah, let me do that, and I'll just zoom out a little bit. Here we go. So, and they said it could go up to 6 miles before it actually doesn't mix anymore. And it looks like that was kind of a significant point here, where it looks like a lot of it kind of starts to blend in right around here, but it's still separated way over here on the edge. But it looks like what they're calling the Amazon River. Oh no, see, look, here's still some separation there. So it kind of hugs the edge here, the other river, and it just kind of continues to do the same thing. Sorry, let me just try to center this back off again. And again, a little bit more, like you can still kind of see where it's still fighting against it. And we just keep going down, zoom out here a little bit. And it looks like it's starting to blend in pretty well at this point. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's, I mean, well, maybe not. See, look at that. So it's still got some separation there. And especially over here, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Like how it almost blended together, but then over here, it's all different and separated now, which is also really interesting. And then, oh, no, hold on. It screwed up, didn't it? I think it screwed up. I think I ended up going back again. I think I'm just gonna have to take the bird's eye view and just stay high up here. Yeah, okay, so now it's all mixed in. So it looked like Google Earth screwed up on me. But very cool. It's a really neat feature. So here's Manaus down here. So let me go ahead and flip this up just a little bit more. Let's see if I can do this here. Here we go. Just to kind of have the ability to zoom in a little more here and have a look at the city. I'm not familiar with the city very well, just like any other place that I'm checking out on these videos. So I just kind of bird's eye view, just kind of scan around and just see what might be down here. I don't really have any plan here. That clearly looks like the airport, so yeah, I'm sure that's the airport there. I mean, it is an airport. Yeah, it's the international airport, so that's where you're going to be landing if you're going to visit Manaus. Terminals are flat. It looks weird, but maybe with Google Earth they will figure that out in due time, be able to kind of 3D the city itself. But yeah, it's a pretty big city. It really is. Oh, look, yeah. So they kind of have a 3D aspect to the skyscrapers, which is kind of neat. So that's pretty cool. Let me see. Down here, 52, 60%. So it's filling in right now. So I'm just going to leave it here until it reaches 100%. So there you go. So this is a kind of a good view because it also has the horizon up here on top. And you can kind of have a good, pretty good sense of how large the city is and like where the skyscrapers are. And it's really neat. It is kind of glitchy. I mean, Google Earth, it's not perfect, but I can understand because this is web-based. They used to be able to let you download Google Earth. I don't know if you can download it anymore. They didn't give me the option when I went to Google Earth, so I don't know if I actually can or not. But if they still allow you to do that, that would be a nice feature because it's probably not so glitchy. Yeah, check that out. Very cool. But that's the city of Manaus. It's very neat. Again, I don't really have any plans on going anywhere specifically. I just thought I would just kind of do like a bird's eye view of the city. I think I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. I probably should just let it load and go a little slower. But let me see what time I'm looking at here for my video. Looks like I'm up to about an hour. I was trying to spend not much more than an hour on this, but yeah, if you go to Google Earth, you can actually zoom into this and you can actually just get a really good view of the city. What's really neat about this is that how close it is to the Amazon rainforest. I mean, that's what I thought was so fascinating. Like, look at that, right on the other side of this massive city, you get all jungle, just as far as the eye can see. Just amazing. I mean, it looks like grass, really, just because it's just so flat. But I'm sure these are all just like really tall trees and just jungle. There's the Amazon River, and then if you go out beyond, I mean, it's just, yeah, like all rainforest out there. That's all rainforest. It's just fascinating. It's amazing. And then there's Manaus here, just the city here. But when you zoom in, it looks like a metropolis because it is. It's a huge city. And it's completely surrounded by seemingly endless jungle. It's so amazing to see that. So I can only imagine the excursions you can take into the Amazon just by being in this city and just being able to take a trip to some one-day excursion or a tourist destination of some sort and be able to explore the Amazon so freely. I'm sure that it's probably fairly simple to do. Is that one single bridge? It looks like there's only one bridge that crosses this river from this massive city. I'm not used to that. I live in Tampa Bay, so we have 4 bridges that cross over Tampa Bay alone because people commute. Now, of course, oh, look at that. They put it off sideways. That's hilarious. That's so funny. Come on, Google. You can make the buildings 3D, but you couldn't make the landmark suspension bridge. You couldn't make that 3D. That's pretty funny. So on behalf of Google, I apologize for that. But yeah, like that one bridge crosses over the river, and it looks like there's not much here. There are definitely towns over here on this side. Like there's one here, and there's another one over here. So I'm sure that they're dotted. I mean, looks like there's some deforestation going on, though, unfortunately. It's like a lot of farmland. That really sucks to see. Definitely not happy about that. But yeah, like from where it goes from there is, you know, I don't know if there's like another bridge right here that it crosses over. I mean, I see where it's going. It's going down this way, so maybe it doesn't. I was wondering if it went off that way, but see, that could be a national preserve maybe on the other side of the river. Maybe that's why that there's no roads going out to that direction. But and maybe there is a bridge that crosses it eventually. I'm not sure. I mean, look at that. Look at all that water. It's all water. Crazy. But yeah, really amazing. Really cool. It's a really fascinating place. I mean, you could really spend tons of time just exploring the area. I know that I'm all jacked up with let me hit north again. So that's true north up here. And that's kind of what we're looking at right here. And if I zoom all the way out, and that's where we are. There's our planet. Back to where the world looks normally. and I will zoom in one last time, and I will end up ending this video here. So let me get right back down to where I should be here. Did I lose it? I think I lost it. I think it was like right around here though, wasn't it? There it is, Manaus. So pretty big city. 2.2 million people, I believe. So a lot of people live in that city. The Rio Negro, which looks like a very complex looking river, and to think that's all Amazon rainforest, just incredible, and so much of it is probably so unexplored. And you know, like the folks that talk about deforestation and how like there's only 40% of the Amazon left, or whatever number they're coming up with, you do when you look at the satellite imagery, you do see pockets where there is deforestation. I mean, clearly they've cut all those trees down and they've deforested that, and they're trying to use it for farming land. But I mean, when you look at the comparisons, like there's some up here. I mean, that's definitely pretty heavy if that's actually deforested, or that could be a natural formation. I mean, I don't know. Kind of looks like it is just by the shape of it. Usually you can tell when humans have their influence because you'll see a lot of squares, kind of like you see with the farmland, at least in the U.S. in the plain states. But that actually kind of looks like a more of a natural formation. But anyway, that's pretty much it. And yeah, the Amazon's a really cool place. I mean, maybe, yeah, I was gonna say down here to the south, maybe that's what they're speaking about. But I mean, at least around Manaus, I mean, it looks pretty well untouched. At least to me, it kind of does. I mean, like you get these little spots here and there that's close to the city that they might be farming. But when you get up into here, these preserves, they're just absolutely pristine. So it's really cool. It's nice that they're actually finally protecting the Amazon, and they're not deforesting it. I don't think they are as much as they were, but I don't follow it too closely, so I'm not 100% sure on that. But check out that river. That river's almost like it's so light brown. That's really interesting. Very brightly colored, and I'm sure it's just a mix of soil, just dirt. And you know what? You might actually get 3 colors out of that. See? No, yeah, see, now the imagery kind of shifts, but you can still see 2 distinct colors here. There's one color here that mixes, then there's another one there. Then when you follow it down, yeah, down to here, it mixes there again. That's not the primary spot. No, it's up here. That's where the primary spot is, where they both come together. But when you throw in this one over here that looks a lot more lightly colored, you get yet a third one that starts to mix in. So anyway, very, very complicated, or not complicated, but a very complex region of the world. But yeah, there's Manaus, right in the middle of Brazil, or right in the middle of the Amazon rainforest in the country of Brazil. Would be an awesome place to visit. I'm sure it's exotic to the max. Would be amazing to visit. There's cloud cover all over the northern part of the continent, and that's how the cloud cover looks right now. I mean, that's actually, I don't know how Google can do it, but that's literally what the clouds look like right now across the globe. And so I'm in Florida, I'm in Tampa Bay, and it's been raining all day, so I assume there's a lot of cloud. Yeah, see, there's some cloud cover. Looks like we're getting to the end of it, which sounds right because I don't hear any rain happening anymore. But yeah, it rained all day. So yeah, when you zoom in more, it kind of strips the clouds out of the imagery. But yeah, so anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely check back for the next video where I will cover Mumbai, India. And until next time, stay very safe out there, and I hope you you heed the advice. You do the 6-foot rule, social distancing. Just stay inside as long as you can until we get over this nightmare that we're dealing with. And until next time, I hope you stay really safe out there. So thank you very much for watching the video, and until next time, see you later.